crowd. Wheel to wheel, we're chasing glory. Every race becomes a story. From the grid to the checkered flag. Big moves, big wins, no holding back. News, reviews, and racing talk. This is more eSports. This is more eSports. This is more eSports. Welcome to the more eSports podcast. Engines roar, the lights go out. More esports, hear the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we're chasing glory. Every race becomes a story. From the grid to the checkered flag. Big moves, big wins, no holding back. News, reviews, and racing talk. This is more esports. This is more esports. This is more esports. Welcome to the more esports podcast. Engines roar, the lights go out. More esports, hear the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we're chasing glory. Every race becomes a story. From the grid to the checkered flag. Big moves, big wins, no holding back. News, reviews, and racing talk. This is more esports. This is more esports. This is more esports.
Welcome to the More Esports podcast, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jack. I am usually your commentator. Today, I am your host. Alongside me tonight, a different man, a man that watched the whole 2 hours of the podcast last night, so is a little bit well versed on how we run things over here. It's MCL85. MCL, good evening, my friend. How you doing?
Good evening, mate.
It should be quite fun, this. We have got Mikey joining us. Don't worry, I see a few people already in the chat asking where Mikey is. He's currently on the road. He will be joining us in about 20-ish minutes or so. So for now, you get to hear me and MCL waffle and chat away and talk a bunch of bollocks about whatever comes to our mind. So I'm sure you're all going to enjoy that massively. I think the first topic that we realistically should talk about is obviously we had the Tuesday races today. We spoke a bit about the Monday races yesterday. Today, obviously being Tuesday, we had the Tuesday races for all of you non-common sense using folk at home. MCL, you raced in the 8 p.m. race. We've obviously bigged the 8 p.m. race up as like the crown jewel of MOR, the real big one. Did it feel like that while driving? Did you step into the cockpit and go, "Oh shit, this is big"?
Yeah, qualifying was when you're looking at the times going through, you're looking at the numbers and you're thinking, I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really fast boys in there. Unfortunately, there's quite a lot of safety cars, but obviously we'll get to that in a bit, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was a chaotic race from the commentary side of things. It was hard to know where to look. There were so many different sort of individual stories going on through the grid. You had Saban and BP Ace at the front of the field constantly battling away. You were involved in that fight yourself. You then dropped back a bit. You were fighting away with Cam as well. It was a crazy race. There was safety cars galore. The safety cars definitely shook that race up, didn't they? I think there was about 3 full safety cars, and I want to say another 2 virtual safety cars. That was probably horrible to drive in.
Yeah, well, when you're driving, you can't see what's going on behind you, so you probably had a better picture than I did in terms of why the safety cars were coming out. But I was just zoned in on my race. But when we restarted the lobby, I forgot that I had a fresh set of mediums and I didn't
Oh.
box, which is a big error. But hey, we stuck in there.
Exactly. I mean, from your perspective, how do you think the race went? Were you hoping maybe to get a little bit more from the race? Do you think you finished about where you should have? Was it what you expected?
I really wanted a podium there. I think I deserved a podium after quali. I think just strategy and the timings of the safety cars. Sometimes you get a little bit unlucky. I think I had a good undercut and a good plan to begin with, but the other safety cars caused my plans to change quite a lot, and then forgot the mediums in the pit.
No, it is so difficult, especially when you have a race like that where it's a constant safety car train, and then you have a little bit of a gap where you're like, okay, we're fully racing now. Oh, no, another safety car. And it goes on like that for so long. The whole strategy side of it completely goes out the window. You know, you have a plan going into a race. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. If there's a safety car, maybe around this period, I'll come into the pit lane a bit early or stay out a bit more. What if there's rain, whatever? But races like that completely screw with your head because it's 1 minute you're doing one strategy. Oh, no safety car. I'll box onto these tyres. Oh, wait, nope, there's another safety car. Do I come in this lap? You end up not
Exactly, yeah.
knowing what to do.
Yeah, and sometimes you just get left in limbo. You think, is this the right thing? Is this the wrong thing? And then you see the race kind of coming back to you, and then you think, oh, my tires are gone. It's a mental battle for sure. Um, and yeah, Cam Ruddy was putting a lot of pressure on me after I think the third safety car, and I had to let him go because he was faster. And I thought, maybe if I could attach along the back of him, then I might be in with a chance. But I just couldn't keep up with him. My tires were too old.
Yeah, you and him were stuck hip by hip for a very long time in that race. I mean, I was saying it on the stream, but in that sort of battle with someone else, when you're so closely contested, there is no time for a lapse of concentration. Even under the safety car, you've got to prepare yourself for what's about to come. How do you deal with that being in the cockpit? Obviously, it's very different to, let's say, being a real race driver. But
Yeah.
I want you to give me a bit of an insight, especially for the people at home that maybe don't league race. How is that sort of mental pressure when you've been battling someone for so many laps? It's exhausting, isn't it?
It is exhausting, and if anybody watches my stream at all, they they would see how unprofessional I am, and I am literally chugging away on a vape in between safety cars, and I've got a vape in my hand, chugging away, just thinking about what I'm gonna do. So yeah, I wouldn't advise that, but yes, that's what I'm doing.
Well, there's always ways to try and deal with it. F1 Mikey Boy has now joined us, our usual co-host of the stream. Mikey, are you still out on the road somewhere? You trucking along?
Yeah, I'm still on the road. I apologise if the sound's poor or if you can hear the many vehicles that I'm overtaking, which I couldn't do in the race. But yeah, I'll be on the road till 2 a.m. So
Well,
it could be another long podcast if everyone's staying awake.
yeah, exactly. I mean, podcast till 2 a.m. Who says no? Hey, W's in the
I guess
chat.
it'll go quicker.
W's in the chat if you're enjoying so far. Mikey, obviously, you bring up that you weren't able to overtake many cars during the race. Personally, I thought you had a very good comeback during the Grand Prix. Do you want to talk us through your race? Because I didn't really catch what happened to you. I suddenly just sort of looked at your name and thought, oh my god, Mikey's P19. What the hell has happened to him?
Yeah, I mean, what I done was quite comical actually, and I don't think I was the only one. Obviously, we had the lobby restart because the 6 people, a quarter of the grid disconnected. So I thought it was only fair we reset it. Someone readied up quickly, so whoever that was, they're getting disqualified from the session because I did put a message out saying don't ready up.
Yeah.
But yeah, as soon as the lights went out, I'm going to watch my stream back, but you can hear me revving the car as if it's a formation lap, and the lights have gone out, and I've not gone until the car in front of me's gone because it's a formation lap and I wasn't overtaken, but it was actually lap one.
Ah.
And I completely shot myself in the foot, and I just went backwards, and at that point the damage was already done. So I thought, let's just drop back a little bit more and avoid any collisions, which I did do. But yeah, that was the race start. It was a bit poor. I went back up to, I think it was like 11th or 10th, and then got damage from rear-ended Nova. Obviously, there was a lot of fighting, so people trying to defend or attack the car in front. It's very hard to keep an eye on, front and back at the same time in such a tight track. So yeah, I rear-ended Nova. The safety car come out, and I thought, oh, I can fix that. And then yeah, I went back out. I then had a collision with Darrell. It gave me, I think it was a bit of an optimistic lunge, but it gave me damage on the front wing. It wasn't anything terrible, but again, when the safety car came out and I was in second, I'd left the setting on to change my front wing. So it changed my front wing again, which was very annoying. However, I don't think I could have gone any further than I did, and then to take fourth, I think was a result. And I could hear you in the commentary. My little slingshot every time was working a treat, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was insane, honestly. I mean, I've not really raced around Zandvoort on this game, but the way that you would go down the inside and it would literally like your car had a rocket on the back of it and you just flew straight past the car that was next to you. And I was very surprised that more people didn't pick up on it during the race because it seemed like it was so much quicker.
Yeah, once I got to Tom, who was in fourth at the time, me and him were fighting through the field quite a bit. And I think he caught onto it, which was then why I couldn't get anywhere near him. I had an opportunity, but it didn't really work. And the slingshot didn't gain much time, but what it did do is it unsettled the cars in front because it was unexpected.
Yeah.
And I think 3 or 4 of the overtakes that I did on that was from people thinking, shit, it's coming, flooring it, and then losing their back end and having a big snap.
Yeah.
But no, I felt good, to be fair. It's the first time racing on a PC. There was a bit of improvement to be made, but overall, I was very surprised to go from 19th to 4th. I'll take that massively. Very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a great comeback. Like I say, I mean, I looked about halfway through the end of lap 1 and you were down in P19 and I was thinking,
yeah,
what is going on? What's happened to Mikey? Why is he down there? And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, he's going up a few more positions. He's now battling with this guy. He's gone through on him as well. MCL, back to you though. Your race was pretty much up at the front all race long. Obviously, you spoke about the safety cars and how that affected you. Was the rest of the race kind of what you planned for, or was there maybe, I don't know, more tyre wear than you expected? Was the battling closer than you expected? Was there anything that caught you off guard about the race?
No, I was pretty comfortable, I thought, especially when I was towing off the back of Saban and BPAce. I was pretty comfortable there on the first stint. Tyre wear was high, but I know I'm quite good with tyre wear, so I decided to undercut. But obviously, as we've already discussed, the safety cars didn't come out at the right time, and then I like Mikey off the line. I just forgot that I had that spare set of mediums because when I selected my tires, I selected the harder compound, so I didn't expect to have a medium set of tires in the locker.
Yeah, it's always difficult when you have things like that kind of shake up the mental side of things. You know, you get into the race, you do the formation lap, you're preparing yourself mentally, and then the lights go out, you have the race start. Oh, wait, no, lobby restart. And that almost adrenaline in a way comes down and down and down. And then you've suddenly got to get yourself back in the zone again. Obviously, the formation lap was turned off as well because of the glitch that was causing people to disconnect. Sorry. So it was almost this case of you get the adrenaline up on the formation lap, it comes back down while the lobby's reset, and you don't get that chance to then get the adrenaline back.
Yeah, it does stop the rhythm. Yeah, 100%.
Mikey,
Like,
obviously,
to collisions as well. I
yeah,
really think that you get a lot more, especially in a corner like turn 1 in Zandvoort. You do get a bigger chance of collisions because you just forget like your braking points. Whereas if you've been doing laps around on the on qualifying and then you go straight into your formation lap, I don't know about everyone else, but I tend to bomb it down to turn 1 on the formation lap just to get into the rhythm a little bit and sort of work out where my braking point is. But when you reset the lobby with nothing like that, it does really catch you off guard. And I think, to be fair, I think everyone got through unscathed in the end, which was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I think through turn 1 there was someone that had an incident at the back. I want to say it was Tom maybe that got spun round at turn 1, but it was a lot cleaner than I expected, to be honest.
I think when you come to the first race of the season, everyone's been practicing, everyone's hyped, everyone's ready, everyone's seen all the the pre-content before going into the race. I think everyone wants it a bit more as well. I think now that first race is out of the way, I think everyone will start settling into the season because, you know, we're not used to having that many safety cars on a Tuesday. And I think it's just that first race, the pre-race jitters, as they say,
Yeah.
and I think they're now out the way.
I also want to say I think that qualifying is probably the closest in history of WRC and MOR. I think that was absolutely insane. It was 1.1 seconds covering first to 20th, and just 2 milliseconds between 1 and 2. I just thought that was absolutely incredible to see.
Yeah, I mean, watching and commentating that qualifying session, it was crazy. And then you get to the final part of qualifying, and it's 0.002 of a second between pole position and P2, especially at a track like Zandvoort, where it's notoriously quite hard to overtake. You know, you think that 2 milliseconds could have made the difference between P1 and P2 in the Grand Prix. And it just goes to show that all this hype that we've put into the Tuesday 8 p.m. division, bigging it up, almost giving it the moniker of the crown jewel, it wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And as Mike said, I think first round, everyone's trying to make a statement. You know, they're trying to get the upper hand on their opponents. And tonight, I think it was it Saban that won the race?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, Saban and BPA's fighting to the end. Saban's mentality and the edge over BPA's because he's won the first race and the pressure's not on him now for the next one. But I do want to give a shout out to Sideman as well. He had a mega drive. I wasn't expecting him to be up in the top battles there and to come home in 5th as well. I think it was a great result from him and great for Red Bull.
Yeah, I mean, the Constructors' Championship, I was trying to monitor it sort of as the race went on, and it was, oh, Cadillac are doing really well. Oh, then it's maybe McLaren that are doing a bit better. But at the end of the race, it did look like Red Bull were the most consistent constructor in that race. I know we always said that VCarb were going to be the team to beat, realistically. But in that race, it, to me anyway, seemed like Red Bull had the two most consistent drivers, and they were driving at the peak of their performance.
If you look at the start of the race where RB was, I was concerned because obviously you had MCL at the top, you had Blake running in 7th, and then I think it was just unfortunate that the safety car came out. Obviously Mike didn't pit under the second safety car, which I don't know whether he had an issue or damage or not, but he was dropping back quite quick at the end. And I was on softs that were on 50%, and I was still managing to pull away. So I just think it was unfortunate with safety cars. As he said, it is rare that we get 4 or 5 in a Tuesday race. But I still think it was a great opening to the season. And I think, you know, looking at that first qualifying session and the race and how much good battling there was, I think it's going to be one hell of a season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting. I think the championships, both championships, are going to be very, very close. MCL, I know you've been touted as really one of the favourites for the championship. Do you really feel like that is going to be the case this season? Do you think you are one of the favourites?
Absolutely not. Saban and BPA's, you know, and G Russell, they're very, very, very fast guys. And Cam Ruddy's there, Mikey Boy's there. You know, Nova, if he would have had a better race today, would have been there. You know, you've got Andy Price and Sideman that can all get points. Maloon, you know, Maloon had a really bad race today. That's not like Maloon, and I think he just didn't put the hours in before the race. So yeah, I think the championship will go down to the line, but I think you know, I think Saban and BPA, I would have my money on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of very quick drivers, a lot of drivers that we definitely need to keep our eyes on in that division. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very quick. And to be honest, I'm not sure who to even watch when it comes to commentating the whole thing. I'm kind of stuck between who do I even look at, because all of these drivers have got a chance of winning the Grand Prix.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's just testament to the Tuesday division. There is several drivers that can win it, and everyone's getting faster as well. So you're noticing, you know, the drivers I had last season off, but you're noticing drivers that I would quite easily beat in a race. I'm now battling side by side with them. The the performance of some of the weaker drivers from last year is astonishing.
That just goes to show as well, the Tuesday division, everyone sees that as a big opportunity, and look at the practice that they're putting in. I genuinely think like Maloon was fighting for the title last season. I don't know if he had any issue in qualifying or it was impeded, but he qualified 18th. That's a massive. That's like Verstappen going from the top down to 18th. That's a big difference. And yeah, there may have been issues, but that's still an eye opener as well. And I think Maloon will worry about that as well. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be one hell of a season. I can't wait for it, especially Monaco.
Most certainly. MCL, excited for Monaco? Go on.
No, I know Mike is. Mike's really good at Monaco, and Monaco's all about qualifying, but also there can be many incidents in that race also. So again, it can be anyone's race. A safety car could come out, perfect timing for someone. But yeah, not looking forward to Monaco personally.
Well, someone that might look forward to a Monaco race. We've got Kian and Solar in the chat. I'm just going to interview the pair of you at the same time, to be completely honest, because I didn't expect either of you to join. So, Solar, Kian, welcome in to the MOR podcast. Hope you are both well. Now, we need to settle the debate. Solar is a fan favourite sometimes when he's not dominating. Kian's a fan favourite. What one of you has the more fanfare? Let's get W's in chat for Kian. Let's get L's in chat for Solar. Who do we like more, Kian or Solar?
I'm about to see so many W's in that chat.
And while we're waiting for the chat to decide, Kian, first of all, I'll come to you. Kian, you raced in the 6 p.m. division, if I'm not mistaken, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
How was that race for you then, Kian? It was a close race, it looked like. It was a very competitive Grand Prix as well. Just talk us through your race. How did you find it?
I mean, from my standards, I thought I did pretty well. For the people that obviously watched me in the Tuesday division of last season, you very much predicted me at the back of the grid in qualifying and come the checkered flag. But it was really nice to be, fighting in the mid pack. I think it was P8 I finished in the end. So in my standards, I thought I did a pretty good race. Probably would have liked to have finished a bit higher, but the strategy wasn't really there for me today. But looking forward to Monaco. Monaco is one of my favourite tracks, and I do like to race around there because it is where I got my first podium. So looking forward to it for next week.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like a very competitive race from your end. You seemed like you were enthralled in a lot of battles. It seemed like you were very close to a lot of other drivers as well. Was there one particular battle that you'd look back on and say, that's probably going to be my rival for the rest of the season?
Trying to think. I battled Lunar Eclipse quite a lot. Lunar Eclipse is very quick. I was never expecting to be fighting with someone, and I think it was P10 we were fighting for at one point.
Yeah.
I think I had Prancing Horse with me at one point towards the end. When I was trying to save fuel because I was running out of it and started to panic. If I had to pick someone, I'd probably have to go with Lunar Eclipse. I think we will have some really good battles. We had some great battles around Japan. But yeah, I would have to go with Lunar Eclipse for that.
Mikey, MCL, any questions to the fan favourite, Kian?
Sorry, I have to unmute every time because I don't want to listen to the bloody motorway. What did you think of the overall standards in the 6 p.m? I missed it. I was setting up and practicing on my new PC, so I didn't get to watch it. But yeah, what was the standards like, and did you enjoy it?
Do you know what? The standards were really good. I fully enjoyed it. I loved getting involved with the battles with people. The strategies with people. If I am correct in thinking, I don't think we had a safety car or a VSC in the whole session.
I don't think so.
And I don't think we had a retirement either. So as far as standards go, I thought it was a pretty decent race from everyone.
Yeah, no, that's very good. That's, everyone knows how I feel about retirement, so that makes me happy.
Yeah, I don't think there was a retirement. We started with 22, we finished with 22, so the standards were definitely high.
That's great.
Well, I believe.
Kian.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
go on.
Who do you think is going to be the drivers and constructors champion for 6 p.m.?
There's a lot of people you could throw into that mix. I think the 6 p.m. division it's kind of a free for all for anyone because I don't think you can predict who will win a race. Of course, I'd like to come in here and say, "Oh, I'd love to win it," but I don't think I've got that type of pace to keep up with some of the quicker guys at the front. If I had to pick, it's put me on the spot, but I'm trying to think who won today. They showed some really good pace. I can't think of what their name was. It's gone out of my mind. I'd probably for the World Drivers' Championship, I'd probably go Llama. I've not seen them race a lot, but they showed some really good pace today. So I think Llama gets my vote. For the constructors, it could go either way. There's some really quick people in the 6 p.m. I think if I'm right in saying the Mercedes boys had a really good Japan weekend tonight. So I'm going to put Mercedes for the constructors at 6 p.m.
They sound like
Awesome.
solid predictions, I must say. They sound. I don't think you'd be earning much money if you bet on those results, I'd be honest. They seem pretty predictable. Ollie, for the record, I am not answering your question that you put in the Twitch chat. I saw it and I ignored it for a reason. I am not saying that out loud on Twitch. This may not be the professionalism of an actual stream, but that is diabolical, Ollie. You should sit in the naughty corner and think about what you're saying. Anyway, moving on from MOR and from all of the races that we've done today. Obviously, yesterday we were talking a lot about real F1, and one of the names came up was Alex Albon. And I believe it was me, Mikey, and Blake that all said Albon's time is probably done in F1. Well, it comes out today, after there being pretty much no news for the entire silly season, that he has re-signed with Williams. Mikey, I'm going to come to you first. Obviously, we were talking about this last night. What are your thoughts on Williams keeping Albon? Great chat. Thanks for that, Mikey. I'm going to come to you then, Blake, because obviously you were there last night as well. Blake, thoughts on Williams keeping Albon? Are you a fan of it? Do you think it's the right decision?
I understand from their side of things. They want to kind of keep like a set kind of driver lineup. I think personally it would have been about time that they bring in a Fornaroli. Would be my pick if I was James Vowles. But equally at the same time, I do understand they want some form of consistency in their driver lineup when they haven't really got that in their car performance. So it makes a lot of sense. It wouldn't have been what I would do personally, but yeah, I see why. And I think I'm not sure how long the contract is, but for Williams' benefit, I hope it's not any longer than 2 years. But I think it is all right. It's not the end of the world, but I think they could have gone a different direction.
MCL, obviously, you weren't there with us yesterday, but just to, I guess, kind of fill you in, me, Mikey, and Blake, we were talking about Alex Albon. We weren't really particularly fans of him and what he has done this season in that Williams car. If you were James Vowles, is this the decision you would have taken? Would you have re-signed Alex Albon?
I'm just reading through the comments, and Daryl's made a good observation in terms of I don't think Williams stand a chance anyway. So I don't think it's the drivers at the moment that are not performing. I think it's the car.
Yeah.
So to go back on what Blake said, they need more performance of the car. I think James Vowles would need to watch his back rather than Albon. I would say.
Yeah, I think it's been quite a troubled start to life in these new regulations for Williams. Obviously, most of the attention is on Aston Martin or Cadillac that have had very poor starts to the season, especially with Aston Martin, really having a fall from grace, especially with all the money behind them as well. But I don't know, I think Williams are being a bit overlooked because they have been incredibly poor.
Yeah, and yeah, I think all the hype that come behind James Wells, we all expected the car to be a completely different car this year, and it's just not happened, unfortunately. I'd love to see Williams doing well. They've got a lot of heritage and history behind them. It'd be nice to see another car back up there, but unfortunately, it just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, exactly that. I think it's quite confusing in a way. Williams, they always kind of come into the start of life in regulations as, let's face it, a bit crap. And then they slowly get better. And then they get to the top of the midfield. And then the regulations change. And they go back to being a bit crap. And then they grow. They'll get to the midfield. And the regulations will change. I'm just going to put the question out there. Do we ever see Williams really contending for a championship again?
Maybe I don't know. Regulation things change so quickly. I mean, you're only going to look at the McLarens this year. That they had a poor start to the season, but I think they're starting to find a bit more performance out of their car now, and things can change quite quickly. So you never know. Quickly, Ollie's asking me to answer the question. Um, yeah, I'm not allowed to do it either, Ollie. I spoke to Jan free.
Maybe. Ollie, you know what? I'm going to give you a proposition. Drop 10 gifted subs right now, Ollie, and I will answer the question on live stream. That's your proposition. That's what you're getting. That's the only offer you're getting. We're not restructuring the deal. Mikey has rejoined us. Mikey, can you hear us? Are you here?
I am still alive. I'm still driving. Just hit a bit of a hiccup in the signal, so I've switched phones, and now you're playing through the car, so the noise is probably even worse my end. But yeah,
Well,
I'm back.
no problem. We were just going on to the conversation of Albon's re-signing for Williams. Obviously, we spoke about Albon and Williams last night. Do you think it was the right decision to get Alex Albon another contract extension?
Announced today, was it?
Yeah.
I don't see. I mean, I understand why they have, because he's been loyal and he's trying to help the team where he can. But for me, Williams aren't going anywhere. So, I mean, if they've lost Sainz already, they need at least one of them. So maybe it's just a bit of protection. But I think they need to do something different. And now that he's signed, I would say probably it's time for.
If Sainz realistically were to move on, let's say, I'll pose this question to all of you. Where do we think Sainz is going? I think the obvious answer probably is Audi, but he's been linked with a few moves away from Williams. I'll come to you first, Blake. If you were Carlos Sainz, A, where would you want to go? And B, where would you think you are going?
I think for him it's a very difficult situation to be in. Obviously, coming from like a top team down to what was meant to be a midfield runner, but obviously it has been towards the back in the Williams this year. I think it is just difficult. I think there's top four kind of teams are almost set in stone, and if Verstappen leaves, it'll be somebody from those top four teams replacing him. So those are kind of out of the picture. And I think in terms of long-term projects, if it's not going to be Williams, I think Audi is probably one of the best bets to potentially be towards the front in the coming years. I mean, Sainz isn't old by any stretch of the imagination. He's got plenty of years left in the tank, especially now seeing drivers race for longer and longer. But I think he could do it like another season or two at Williams, and if that project is still not working with the budget they have and the team surrounding them, then I think Audi is a good shout. I think Bortoleto will move on from Audi at some point as well. I think he'll be too good for them if they don't make the necessary steps, and he could replace him. Or, as I said, Hulkenberg could be on his way out next season as well. So I think Audi is probably where he would end up. The only other thing really is like a Cadillac or something with Bottas moving on, but wherever they end up in the next 2 years would probably affect that quite a lot because nobody wants to be there at the moment, I imagine. Or the only other thing is an Aston Martin with Alonso leaving, but then again, that's the same sort of thing as the Cadillacs. You don't really want to be there right now.
MCL, what are your thoughts? If you were Carlos Sainz, is there anywhere that you could picture yourself maybe moving to, going somewhere nice?
I think for Carlos Sainz, because he's been at the top teams, he's probably got his sights set on a higher team, but I don't think it's there for him. I did see in the chat that he'd probably retire, which might not be far wrong with retiring, but I think he's too good of a driver to just retire, but I just don't see where he fits in with other teams at the moment. So it's a difficult one, really.
Yeah, I mean, Daryl's just put a very good point in the chat saying, honestly, I think Albon would be decent in the McLaren, but he's stuck. It's better than no seat. Sainz, on the other hand, should have stayed at McLaren. He shot himself in the foot. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
he's definitely not had the best career choices, let's put it that way. Carlos Sainz was obviously at Renault, then went to McLaren. McLaren started to get good, and that's kind of when Sainz left.
I think Aston Martin could be a good location for Carlos Sainz for when Fernando Alonso leaves.
Yeah, I mean, Spaniard replaces a Spaniard. I mean, it makes sense to me.
And I think Sainz would be more inclined to take the Aston Martin because of the backing that they've got. You know, it's quite clear and obvious that Stroll isn't afraid to put money into the team. He seems like the sort of person that if he was to break the the cost cap, he'd just pay the fine to close that gap. I'm backing Sainz. If he is to leave Williams this year, then I think he could maybe be out of seat for a season. But I'm backing him to at one point get a seat in that Aston Martin.
I honestly don't think that's the worst shout I've ever heard. That's it's bold, but I do like it, I must say. We're going to run for a 5-minute break, ladies and gentlemen, so you will hear the lovely MOR podcast song once again. Mikey beaming as he drives down whatever motorway that he's on. We'll be back in 5, ladies and gentlemen. See you in a sec.
Engines roar, the lights go out. MOR Sports, hear the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we're chasing glory. Every race becomes a story. From the grid to the checkered flag. Big moves, big wins, no holding back. News, reviews, and racing talk. This is MOR Esports. This is MOR Esports.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, during the break, we discussed something very interesting that the man himself, F1 Mikey Boy, would like to take us through. So let's get ourselves over to the MOR Esports website. Mikey, what are we looking at?
So, we have something exciting coming up. So, as most of you know, I don't know if we can see your screen, JP, can we?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I can't see it on my phone, that's fine. Yeah, so Andy and MCL used to, well, or have done for quite a while, done a fantasy Formula One league where they do predictions every week and they do like a little championship standings, blah, blah, blah. But we had a notification on the app a few days ago that the app's closing down due to running costs and stuff like that. So I've kind of just stolen it and spoken to Tomo, and he's been working hard on it, and I don't think it's ready to roll out just yet. It may well be. I haven't seen, because I'm in the wanted to give you a little sneak peek for everyone to use. Basically, you'll get a Grand Prix weekend coming up. You'll be able to then submit your top 10 predictions for the weekend. So if it's a sprint race, I'm not sure if we do sprint and feature, but I know for a fact we're doing the main race. Basically, you predict your top 10. If your driver finishes either side of the right position, you get a point. And if they finish in the correct position, you get 3 points. And we'll have a championship table where people will then battle to win the championship. It's a cool little feature, and I think it's amazing that Tomo's been able to build it and bring it in for us. So as soon as that's ready, we'll let you know. But it's just another step in the right direction and something that we do that no other league does. So if we could get as many people signed up to be doing that, that would be really cool. And it would, you never know, we might be able to throw a prize on at the end of it as well.
Exactly. I mean, we'll look in the make prediction section now. So as you can see, you have all your drivers with the team logos and the driver names and whatnot. And then you have your little drop down menus. You can pick where you think everyone is going to finish. So me, Blake and Mikey, we did our predictions. MCL, I'm going to put you on the spot here. The top 10 for the Dutch Grand Prix. Take us through it. Who do you think is going to be the top 10? You can start from 10th and go up, or you can start from the winner and go down.
Well, I'll give you a little insight, JP. So me and my wife have been doing this fantasy league that Mike's been talking about, and my daughter actually. So it's quite cool that your family can get involved and your friends. It's not just for the people within the league, but yeah, we do this every week, and we love it. It's a bit of banter within the family. Andy does it, his wife does it as well. So it's just a bit of running bants. But last year my wife won it, and this year
Ooh.
she's currently leading as well. Not that I give her any tips because I'm not beating her, but I'm gonna go with I reckon Max Verstappen will win this one.
Oh, okay. That's big.
Yeah, I think it's his home track, and he's just got something extra about him on this particular weekend. I'm then going to go Kimi Antonelli.
Okay. It's a return to normality for second place.
Yeah. I'm going to go George Russell.
Where is the big George? There he is. Mercedes
Lando
double
Norris.
podium. Lando Norris in fourth.
Yes,
You're believing in the McLaren project.
I do. And then I'm going to go Oscar straight after him as well.
Oh, okay. So that's your top 5. Now it gets a little bit harder.
I'm going to go Leclerc.
Okay.
Lewis.
Oh, not the greatest weekend for Hamilton.
No. It could rain though. Jesus, I've made a mistake. I'm going to go Lindblad.
Lindblad 8th.
Yeah. Lawson.
Liam Lawson
And
in 9th.
Bortoletto.
What about Hadjar, Mike?
Hadjar
No.
not making
Hadjar-
points.
Hadjar won't make points.
Ooh, bold.
Very
Yeah.
bold predictions. Max wins at home with Hadjar completely out of the top 10. So if you're not putting Hadjar in the points, does that mean you think he's crashing out? Or you think
Well,
he's just being poor?
This is the whole thing about fantasy league is it doesn't always work out the way you want it to be. So, you know, if the top 3 drivers, one of them doesn't get away off the line, you know, your top 3 shuffle straight away. So the point of the matter is when you're doing this fantasy league, you want the driver to be in exactly that spot. I'm not sure the way Mike is going to do this point system, but on the other app you get I think is it 2 points, Mike, for a correct prediction or 3 points?
I think it's 3. So I think I've tried to mirror it the same. So it's 1 either
Yeah.
side.
Yeah.
And 3. I don't know if it's 3 for the race win and then 2 for the right point.
Yeah.
I know for a fact you do get 3 points somewhere along the lines because I got it and it wasn't in first. So
Yeah.
I think it's
So-
3 for the right position.
Yeah, you get 3 for the right position, and then you get 1 point if they feature within that top 10. So those drivers can feature within that top 10 at any stage, and you get 1 point each for those drivers. But if you get them bang on where they finished in the race, then you get 3 points. That's how the other app works anyway. I'll have to have a look at what Mike's put forward when we go forward with this. But yeah, anything happens. So it might look crazy as I'm looking through the chat. Daryl say I'm smoking something or I'm high. But honestly, it can happen to any of those drivers.
Most certainly. I think it's quite bold, but I must say, it looks like this is a very cool addition to the website. It looks like it's working well from what we can see. MCL's predictions for you then on screen. He's got Max Verstappen winning his final ever Dutch Grand Prix. Antonelli in second with Russell. A bit of a return to form for Russell in third place. It's almost like Noah's Ark, this prediction. We've got the 2 Mercedes, the 2 McLarens, the 2 Ferraris, and then the 2 V-Carbs.
Yeah.
We'll move it back to our Discord then. And I do want to give a big shout out, by the way, to Scooters, who came in with the 11 gifted subs in the Twitch chat.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Scooters, for all the support. You're always in the chats, no matter whether it's a race, a launch party, a podcast. We could probably stream Mikey's feet and you'd come along and watch it. So thank you very much, Scooters, for sticking with
we'd
us.
get closed down if we did that.
Yeah, but I would sub as well. So I'm all up for Mikey's feet on stream.
Oh god. Right, swiftly moving on from F1 Mikey Boy's feet. The reason that it is big that Scooters has dropped some gifted subs tonight is that if you are not aware, we have got a giveaway running this entire stream. F1 Mikey Boy is giving away a Lego Charles Leclerc helmet. So if you gift a sub, it's an entry into the raffle. As many gifted subs as you give, that's as many entries. Your name will be put on the wheel. So Scooters, for example, his name will be on the spin wheel 11 times. And then we spin the wheel at the end of the stream. And whoever it lands on, they win that helmet. So if you are looking to get yourself a Charles Leclerc Lego F1 helmet, drop some gifted subs down below and you could be the proud owner. Maybe F1 Mikey Boy will even sign the box for you if you want that. I'm sure a lot of people would want an F1 Mikey Boy signed bit of memorabilia. What do we think about that, Mikey? Would you sign the box? Oh, Mikey is evidently... he's gone again. He's gone into a dead zone on the motor. Ah, he is here. Mikey is here. Mikey, what are your opinions on signing the box? Oh, he's gone again.
Signing the box?
Yeah.
What, with my toes?
Yeah, you could dip your foot in a paint
I'll
can
sign
and
the
then
box,
stand
no
on it.
problem.
Well, there you go then. It's
If
not...
whoever wins it wants me to sign it, that's fine. But I think if that's the case, we need at least a minimum of 50 subs to run it.
Oh. A little
How
bit
many have we got so
pricey.
far?
Well, so far, we have got... Where are we? Let me have a look in the chat. Where did you send
We've
it?
got to be over 25.
So, you sent 5. Then King Fenrir sent 5, so that's 10. Huff and DeBack sent 5, so that's 15. With Scooter's 11, that's what, 26. And then my one's 27, Ollie's is 28, Brand's is 29. So we're currently at 29 gifted subs. So we would need another 21 to get to 50.
Okay. Well, if we hit 50 subs, I'll throw in the Ferrari gloves as well.
No way!
I'm
In
subbing
the spin
right
the wheel.
now.
The
In the spin the wheel,
Ferrari!
so there will be the winner for the Claire helmet, and then we'll spin the wheel once more for the Ferrari gloves.
The
There you go,
Ferrari
there's-
gloves! This is the biggest
There
giveaway we
is
could have ever
mine.
done.
Only if we hit 50 subs.
MCL immediately comes in with the gifted sub.
There you go. I want them gloves.
Oh my word. The iconic Ferrari gloves of F1 Mikey Boy. Oh, this has turned awful. What are we doing, guys? The Ferrari gloves. Oh my god, Huff and DeBack is back in. Gavin Bass is in as well. The Ferrari gloves. What is happening? So, there's a lot of love for the Ferrari gloves. We've got Gavin Bass in with 2 gifted subs. And we've got Huff in with another 5. Thank you very much to Huff and to Gavin for the gifted subs. You are now entered into the giveaway for some F1 Mikey Boy Ferrari gloves.
Happy days. Who
I-
would have thought, eh?
This is absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe this. The deal that you guys are getting here. Absolutely insane. Anyway, enough about the sweaty Ferrari gloves. Let's move on to our next topic. What is our next topic, F1 Mikey Boy? Because I've completely forgotten it, to be completely honest.
But my next topic is about to be going through the M6 toll, so I'm going to disconnect and let you carry on talking. But let's go on to quick Q&A with the chat.
Yeah.
Let's do five people to put the first questions in. MCL's got to answer them all.
Great.
I
Thank you.
don't make the rules. Who's got some comments then?
I'll be back in 5 minutes.
No worries, Mikey. Get through the toll safely. Hopefully you're not immigrating over the M6. Let's see then. Jack saying, who do you think could be a dark horse in the F2 6 PM division? MCL, do you want to answer first?
Oh, you're gonna have to give me a list quickly, JP, if you've got it available.
Oh,
Just so I can hear a couple of names. I
duh.
don't really know who's in that F2 division, unfortunately.
I'm not sure you're going to know any of these anyway, to be honest.
There we go. Blake can handle this then.
Yeah,
think.
I mean, I don't have the lineups either, so Blake, you're going to have to be the one.
On my phone.
Well done, Blake.
Looking at this, I think there are some interesting people in here. There's also some very quick people in here. I'd be looking at, there's a very dangerous partnership in the AIX, I think it is. That's CB and Ruffer. They're both quick by themselves. I think they're the 2 quickest in this division. So the fact they're on the same team is a little bit dangerous. I think for those 2, that should be a pretty set 1-2 in that championship if it all goes to plan for them. I think you can never count out JF1 because he's just truly one of the greatest of our generation. He's truly something on his day. He's a very good driver. I think if you're looking elsewhere, you've got Kian. Kian's actually been cooking up a storm recently, so I would not put it past him to pull out some madness and take like a win somewhere. I think Jenny, he's had a bit of a hiatus, but he's back. He could throw up some interesting results. But I think outside of that, it's a bit of an unknown one. It's kind of a lot of new people chucked in. I was just to see what happens. I think it'll be a lot of new winners, a lot of interesting racing, a lot of chaos. But I think there will be some good racing in that. So yeah, I'd say CB and Rough Rex. I don't know if they're quite dark horses, but they're definitely 2 horses in the race. But other than that, I'd say give Kian a shout. I think he'll be one to watch.
MCL, we have got a direct question coming to you from Daryl saying, what driver would you pick to come out on top with a 1-lap sprint for the win?
Oh.
A tough one. That's a thinker.
Do you know what? He's not here, so I'll give him some props. Mikey boy, he is actually a really really good driver, and he knows where to stick the nose in the car, in the other car, and he makes it difficult every single time. So yeah, I'll give it to Mikey boy.
I think that's a valid answer. I personally would have gone for JF1, but you know everyone's got their differing opinions. Emmanuel,
Win, not a red flag.
Emmanuel has said, "What do you think Where do you think the Mercs will finish next race in the 8 p.m. race? Obviously, Blake and MCL, you both race in that division. Your kind of aim is to stop them finishing in good positions. Give me a realistic prediction. I'll start with you, MCL, first. The two Mercedes. What do we reckon?
Who's the two Mercs again? Who are
I
they?
think it's changed tonight because one of them has had a little hissy fit and may have left the server.
Right.
So
Yes.
there's a new Mercedes driver in next week. I'll pull up who it will be.
It's
Who
Cam
were they,
Ruddy.
Blake? Do you know who? Ah, it was Cam Ruddy.
Cam Ruddy and Joe.
It was
Joe's no
yes, but
longer with
Joe
us.
he's not died. Don't make it sound
Okay.
but he has moved on to better things. Let me pull up the lineups here. So it will be Joe and it will be Emmanuel, who's probably the one who asked the question.
Yeah, it was
Ah,
Emmanuel
okay.
that asked the question. So Cam Ruddy and Emmanuel as your lineup. Where do you see those two Mercedes boys finishing?
Pretty high. They're both really good drivers, both consistent. Cam Ruddy today was clean as really really clean, and yeah, I think they'll do really well. Will they be top? No, they'll be behind me and Blake.
Oh, Blake, what
That
are
is
your
stinking
thoughts?
tonight, mate.
And me.
They'll definitely be ahead of me. I think, yeah, they'll definitely be looking at, if they're both not in the top 10, I think something's probably gone wrong. I think Emmanuel's someone who brings a lot of esports experience throughout his time on the F1 games, and Cam Ruddy's somebody who, if he doesn't get caught up in an incident, will always be in the top 7 or 8 drivers, regardless of what track it is, or even in F2 cars. So that pairing should be very solid. As for me and MCL, I think MCL's had a bit of he was cooking a little bit earlier, but I just decided to have absolutely no race pace, and then I got murdered by Best Noah. So you can thank him for my P14 tonight. But yeah, me and MCL will try and do something about it. But I'm not sure I've got the facilities to be helping MCL do something about it, but we'll see.
We've got Daryl saying, will Daryl ever win again, or will his bad run of form never end? What do we think about that? Me personally, I think he's got at least one more win in him, surely.
I think Darrell is a fantastic driver. I just he gets into too many tussles. He loves a mind game. He loves pulling someone's leg, and he creates problems on the track. I think if he can put that aside, I think he can get back to winning again. And I know he's definitely fast enough. So yeah, why not?
Blake, thoughts?
I think it depends what division. I think he's obviously still a very good driver. That's not up for debate. It's just whether he can continue to match the rising skill of all the divisions. I think in Tuesday 8 p.m. it's going to be very very difficult for anyone to get a win. Who's not kind of the top 4 or top 5 drivers, because they are just on another level. But I mean, Darrell is somebody who can pull a diamond out of horse poo. He can always cook up something no matter what scenario he's in. So he's always a threat. He's always someone you don't want to see behind you, because it's going to be a hard but fair overtake if he comes past you. But yeah, he can win again. I think even if he dropped in for like a Wednesday 8 p.m. or a Wednesday 6 p.m. he could easily get himself there after about 3 races. But as for Tuesdays, I think he'll need to get his head properly in the game and stop farming sheep, and then he might win. But I think he needs a little bit of time to get back in the swing of things. But no, he's a very talented driver, and he'll definitely be back somewhere along the line.
MCL, we've got a direct question to you from Prancing Horse. And he says, need more race pace, and you're the guy right now. How can I keep consistent despite tyre wear? And how do I charge my battery quicker with the new regulations?
Okay, So a couple of questions there. Well, I think the first part of your question is um, you need to practice. So there's a couple of things you need to do to practice. So first of all, I'd get on time trial just to get your times a little bit faster on the track, so you know where the corners are and what gear to take them in. Because a lot of the guys I watch, they're taking some corners in the wrong gear sometimes. You could downshift it to third, or go into fourth and come out the corner completely different. So I think time trial helps with that. And then in terms of consistency, you need to just keep racing. Make sure that you're always racing, always practicing. Get some wet weather practice in there as well, because it's dynamic weather. And then in terms of the battery, up your diff.
Solid advice. I'm sure Prancing Horse will take that into account. Has anyone got any more questions? Alcada saying, question for Solar. Who do you think will be the top 5 constructors in the F2 division?
I have no idea what the F2 cars are.
I thought it was a bit of a weird one. I don't think I've ever seen you drive an F2 car, to be honest.
I have, but I'm currently driving an LMP2 car.
Ah, well, definitely got the priorities then. Oh, Daryl with another question for MCL. Daryl saying, who do you think is the most underrated driver?
Ooh, there's quite a few. If I don't think I could pick one. I think Andy Price is underrated.
Definitely.
I think he is so consistent, and do you know what? He finishes races. Even I've watched him. He could be in 19th, 20th. 3 or 4 safety cars later. Like tonight, he finished just behind me. He's so underrated, and sometimes he does get collected along the way. But it's absolute comedy in my party when he is getting collected. So I love it.
Yeah, he's definitely a name that he's almost one of the ones on commentary. I never really look at Andy. He's just always sort of in his own bubble, doing his own thing. And then at the end of the race, I'm like, holy shit, Andy Price just finished 6th. Where did that come from? And it's just kind of, he has this way of being invisible, yet finishing in such good positions every single race.
Yeah, and he never gives up. He always wants to finish the race, which I think everyone should have that mentality of just wanting to finish the race, because every place you finish in, you get a point in this league. So he always finishes the race, and he's always optimistic to what may happen in the future. And I think everyone could take a leaf out of that book, I suppose.
Yeah, most certainly. We've got one more question coming in then from TB saying, question to all of you. Who's winning the World Constructors Championships in the Tuesday 8 p.m. division? Now, we spoke about this last night. I'm just going to go with what I said last night. As much as it may not have been the greatest race for one of the pair, I think VCARB are taking the Constructors Championship, and I will double down on that all day.
I'm back in Red Bull still.
I was gonna say I'm back in Red Bull. I think that Red Bull lineup is definitely scary in that 8 p.m. And with Mikey obviously finishing in P4, I think Simon wasn't far too behind either. I think the Red Bulls for the 8 p.m. are definitely up there for fighting for it.
Yeah, I'll go the Red Bull as well. I think Sideman tonight was fantastic. Again, probably an underrated driver, I suppose. I know what he can do. He just needs to put in the practice. And tonight showed that we practiced earlier, and he's come out with a really good result. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there are dark horses in that division, though. You look at Cadillac, for example, Saban finished, he won the race today. Tom, again, made a really good comeback. I think finished just in the fringes of the top 10. I think Cadillac could definitely be a dark horse. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a bit closer come the end of the season. We've got one more question coming in from Emmanuel. This is a question for both me and MCL. I'm going to shorten down your question, Emmanuel. He's basically asking, who do we think are the top 10 drivers in the league currently?
Oh, wow.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first here?
You can go first. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let you. You watch all of us, so I
Well,
think you've got the better knowledge in terms of what you see on track. So.
yeah, I mean, I think easily number one is Kevin Zonneberg. I don't
Hmm.
think there has been a race at all that he's raced in an MOR where anyone's really been able to touch him. I think obviously he's not had the amount of races as, let's say, Solar or BP Ace, where we know they're beatable. At the moment, I do believe Kevin is unbeaten when he's finished a race. So I would definitely say he's number one. I mean, I don't know if I can really rank a top 10. Obviously, Solar's in there, has proved it for a long time that he's one of the best drivers in MOR, has won so many races, has had so many pole positions. You can't take him out the conversation. It's the same with
Yeah.
BP Ace. He's absolutely rapid. He's been racing with us for a while. He's incredibly quick, maybe a little bit more inconsistent than some of the other drivers that I would put in my top 10. But he is on his day unbeatable. MCL would be in there 100%. Has proved it since day one of MOR that he is one of the quickest. Is a world champion. He's in the Hall of Fame. How can you not have MCL in the top 10? Same with F1 Mikey Boy. He's got to be in there. Apart from the Ferrari gloves, I think everything about Mikey Boy's been perfect. He's easily top 5. Then the other 5, I mean, it's difficult, really. You've obviously, got names that have come more recently, like Edward. Edward is very quick. I think he is probably one of the only people that I've seen nearly challenge Kevin. So I would probably put Kevin in my top 10.
And your top 5.
Besides that, I think it's pretty difficult, to be honest. I mean, Daryl, I would have put in there, but recently he's not raced too much. So might have fallen off a little bit. I'm not sure. You've also got people like Zasapi, who haven't raced in a while, but on their day were very quick. I think you've got to put Billy Mewis in the list because he's got the most race wins in MOR history. You've kind of got to have him in there. He was the early dominant guy. Milk as well, I would say, has to be in there because we've almost had these phases where it was Mikey that was the quick guy, then it was MCL, then it was Billy Mewis, then it was Milk, now it's Kevin. Milk's got to be in there. I think I would put Daryl in there. Obviously, a world champion in the 100% division. You don't win a 100% championship by being slow. And that proves the consistency as well, to stay that consistent over that long of a race. I mean, that leaves me with one spot left, and it's going to have to go to JF1. He's. I don't need to describe that one. I think everyone knows why JF1's in that list. He's the greatest of all time. So save the best for last.
To pick a top 10 is it. It's really, really difficult. I think there's guys that are in different leagues now. I'm nowhere near some of these guys. I mean, Solar, Edward, Kevin, BPA, George. Is it G Russell?
Yeah.
I think they, and there's probably Milk. They're Saban. They're just in a different league. And then the rest of us, the names you've reeled off, I think we do pick up probably the second tier of that. But I think those boys at the moment, their qualifying pace is just. I look at it and I go on time trial and I'm like, how am I like 20th on the leaderboard? Like, what the hell is going on? Like, and that's my friends list. And you look up, and it's the same boys at the top. And it's because they put the graft in. They're just practicing all the time. So fair play to them.
Yeah, I
Do you
think.
not think, Mike, that motivates you?
It definitely motivates me. It frustrates me at the same time. When I'm practicing, I'm thinking, oh, that was a good time, and I go on the leaderboard and I'm 9/10ths behind someone, and I'm like, where do you get that time from? I can see that Xander's in the chat saying I'm getting skipped. You're definitely not getting skipped. You're definitely up in the top 10 as well. I think there's loads of drivers, and I don't think it's always about the top 10. Like I was saying earlier, I think there's a lot of drivers that have, we're at the bottom, like Kian was saying, that I was probably going to be last most races, but he's put the graft in, and now he's becoming more and more known because he's putting the graft in. So yeah, the bar is just mega mega high at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think the skill ceiling has ever been so high in MOR with all this influx of new drivers. It's brought a lot of very quick drivers as well. We've got someone in the chat saying hot take, Solar is extremely overrated. People
Wow.
just think he is good because he raced against slow people. As soon as better people started to come, he has disappeared. Solar, do you want the opportunity to reply to that?
I can, I actually kind of half agree.
Oh.
I
Well,
disagree.
I'll be honest. When I was winning, there wasn't as quick as people as there is now. Don't get me wrong. I like to believe I'm fast, but I'm not as quick as other people would like to think.
I did not expect that, I'll be honest. Mikey, did you say you disagreed with that chat?
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think he's overrated at all. I think he's a very good driver. Yes, he may not be as quick as some of the guys we've got in here now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he was racing slower people either. There's Solar's beaten some quick people. Solar, you finished second in that £50 race, didn't you?
I was leading at one point.
Yeah, you were leading 1 point, and you put up a good fight. Yeah, Kevin beat you, but he's probably one of the best I've seen race in a long time. But you beat everyone else in there, and they weren't no pushovers. They're not slow drivers. So I think it's very harsh. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I don't think he's overrated at all. And I think if you put him 9 times out of 10, if you put him in a grid, he's going to be causing havoc up front.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. Of course, the viewers see a lot more sort of perspective than, let's say, the drivers do on track. I think saying someone is overrated, you've kind of got to have proof of that. I understand, Solar may have dropped off a bit when quicker drivers have come in, but you've also got to understand Solar hasn't raced as much since these quicker drivers have come in. So is that maybe why you have that opinion? I'm not sure. We could sit here and debate all night about who's the greatest F1 driver of all time, and all 6 of us would have a different answer, and they would all be for different reasons. We've got Daryl in the chat saying Ferrari for life is the best driver. Change my mind.
That's why I was giggling because I seen that comment pop up, and I'll be the first to say that Ferrari is really, really quick, but that guy is the best or the worst because he's got no consistency. And I think that when we look at these top 10 drivers, it's more about consistency. I think I won a championship and I won one race, and it was because I was just consistently getting points in and around the thick end of the point system.
Yeah, I mean it's
Ferrari for life won his championship without winning a race, and that was the
Yeah.
Tuesday division.
That kind of goes against everything I was saying.
yeah, calling him inconsistent, and he's won a title without winning a race.
But I am telling you,
yeah,
that
but he's done
guy
3
did that.
seasons.
Yeah.
And he's had one good season, and the rest of it hasn't. He's another one that I agree he is quick, or he's nowhere near it, and I think his mindset get the better of him, which is why I wouldn't consider him a great driver. I think he's definitely got the potential to be, but I think he's a way off that at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got an interesting one here, and I would like to get everyone's opinion on this. The first one being Kian. Alcada has said in the chat, underrated take. Kian has a World Drivers' Championship in him. It's just if he has his most comfortable machinery with him. Kian, do you reckon you've got a world title in you somewhere, hiding in the depths?
I've said when the lineups came out when we did the launch, I'm practicing for each division the Tuesday and Thursday, but I'm putting the practice more into the F2 I raced the last the last 4 races of the F2 season. I felt really comfortable in an F2 seat. I thought I showed really good pace. So I think if I had to say where I would win one, I think it would be an F2 because that is where I am more comfortable with the machinery in F2 because it's just pure pace of people. Um, I would like to say I have one in me. I'm definitely putting in the graft. I'm definitely, trying my hardest and doing what I can when it comes to race day.
Yeah, I mean, if I was personally going to answer that question, I've answered it on stream before. I think I see a lot in Kian what I did see in Best Noah, where Noah was kind of in Kian's position, was a little bit towards, let's say, the lower pack, started coming up. People were like, oh, but is he ever going to really win a race? He then won a race. Now he's a world champion in F2.
Yeah.
I could most certainly see that being the case with you, Kian, where you kind of make the switch to F2, find this sort of comfortability, and then with that added confidence from being up towards the front at F2, that's only going to make you better in the F1 cars as well.
It does. I mean, and you can take it into consideration. You watch me race on a Tuesday, and then I was always qualifying at the back of the pack. I was always finishing at the back of the pack, and then in the social races, I'm fighting for top 10 finishes. Monaco in the social race with the P3, where I never thought I'd get a podium, and it happened. Um, so you can definitely see the progression that I've made from the start of last season to starting in season 5. And I do really think F2 is my strong point for this season.
MCL, what are your thoughts? Do you reckon Kian's got a championship in him?
I think anyone can. You've got to put a lot of practice in, which I've covered off several times. Um, I'm having to put in myself probably 4 or 5 hours when I'm having a day off just to make sure I'm competitive. And I'm sure there's other boys on the grid that are putting in more. Just you just got to practice. So yeah, why not? Why can't he win a championship?
Blake, what are your opinions? Kian world champion one day?
Absolutely. It's sort of a testament. I think, as I said, the example you used of Noah is a very good one. I think also from my personal experience in F2, you can be further down the field in F1 and can kind of completely come out of nowhere and be competitive in F2. I think also speaking in terms of what they race on, Noah and Kian are both controller players, and the F2 machinery seems to be a lot more compatible with controller, from what I've seen. So if they can kind of if Kian can replicate the magic that Noah's pulled off on the sticks in F2, then I think anything's possible. I think Kian's obviously got a lot better in recent times, but it's just an effort thing. I think there's definitely there's a direct link between how much you practice and what your results will be. So yeah, if it'd be anything, just keep practicing and then you'll get it. So I think anyone can win a championship, and especially Kian if he puts his mind to it.
Okay, so we'll move on from the question section. We went on a little bit long with that, I think. Mikey, I know you wanted to do some sort of chatter about football. Now, this is where I kind of take a back seat because I'm not the biggest football fan in the world, but I'm sure you guys can all erupt into whatever teams you support and have a good chat.
I mean, I can start it because I support Arsenal, so we're the current champions. So it would only be fitting that the current champions have their first say.
Anyway, I've had enough of talking about football now.
And I'm absolutely delighted that the league owner supports Tottenham because it's yin and yang. So yeah, me and Mikey have quite a bit of bants, and there's Nova and Sidemen that love their football as well. Well, I'm an Arsenal fan. What fans are you boys?
I support Northampton, mate. I'll be honest.
I'm a local fan. I support my local Richard Tranmere.
It sounds like we're varied then. When it comes to football teams, it doesn't really sound like there's anyone that's too close. I mean, Mikey, do you have any reply to MCL? They're champions and you nearly got relegated?
I mean, he didn't mention relegation. Thanks for that, JP. But no, I mean, At the end of the day, it's been. I've had a shit year, and it only got worse when Arsenal won the league. No, I'm joking. No, they deserved it, unfortunately, and it's horrible to say it, but they were the better team through the season, and City just weren't anywhere near the level that they could be. And looking at the way that Community Shield went, I think Arsenal have got a lot to be excited for this season. I think they've done a good bit of business, and unfortunately, I think they're going to go and win it again. As long as they keep messing up the Champions League, I'll be happy.
That's what I was going to ask, Mike. What would you think your predictions are for the top 5 this year, or top 6?
I think it's going to be Arsenal, and then I think it's going to be Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think it's going to be City. I think Liverpool will scrape through in 4th. I think it'll be Tottenham, Man United, and then Villa.
I can't believe you've put Tottenham in there. That is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, what fan wouldn't back their own team?
Yeah,
And
you're right.
I think Michael Carrick did well for United last season, and I think he'll start off well this season. I think there'll be a force at the start, but I think the rails will come off, and I think something will go wrong for 1 or 2 of the top, so-called big 6 or 7. I think something's going to happen this season where it's not going to be Tottenham, but I think another one of them could be struggling.
That's fair enough.
Blake, who did you say you support again?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I'm a Bournemouth fan, mate.
A Bournemouth fan. Do you want to talk us through your season and put everyone to bed, or should we move on to something else?
It depends if you want to talk about a good club or not. Because we are on the fucking up, mate. I mean, on the up. Let's ignore that. Let's not get demonetized. But yeah, no, it's looking all right for us. But Krupi has got injured for like the next 3 months, so we're going to be in the mud for like the first 15 games. Because Evan Nilsson couldn't finish a dinner if he's been in the desert all day. So it'll be interesting to see how we get on with our kind of main goal scoring threat for some of the season. But I think we've brought in some good players, particularly shoring up our defense. So yeah, it should be a good season. Hopefully, get myself down to some more games instead of sitting at home league racing like a neek. So yeah, I'll see what happens.
I've got a question.
Ooh, go on.
How well do we think Coventry will do in the Prem?
Not very.
Back down. There's no way.
I've got them to survive. I think they'll just about survive.
Who do you think goes down then?
I think, for me, Hull goes straight back down, Leeds goes straight back down, and someone might not like this, but bold prediction, I actually think Spurs might also go down.
Fuck off.
I think that's a bit unrealistic, but I'll accept your prediction. I think I'm backing Coventry to stay up. I think they've got a good manager, and I think they've been making some good signings. I think I see Forest struggling this year.
Yeah, Forest could. I could see them struggling. I 100% back Coventry to stay up this season in the Prem. I think they'll do it. I don't think they'll do as well as Sunderland coming back up, but I do think Coventry survive in the Prem this season.
I can see that Matthias Tell is in the chat saying, "Does he want to talk? Do I want to talk about Gabriel's penalty?" Short answer is no.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll save the football chat. Maybe we'll get a new host for a football podcast at some point, and we'll have a proper deep dive into the Premier League and stuff maybe during the international break.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to you, JP, mate.
Yeah, well, obviously my whole shtick is kind of F1, and we've really covered everything F1 related. But if you don't mind, Mikey, I think I will come out with a little bit of an announcement on the podcast. So, as most of you at home probably will know, I am the resident commentator of MOR along with Jack Crossley. But we've had a lot of people in the chat and a lot of people personally message me about improving in their commentary, maybe commentating alongside me, for example. And overall, just a lot of positive feedback towards the commentary and we've got a lot of new commentators in the league as well. But the one thing that I personally think about a lot of the commentators is that experience is a very big thing in commentary, and experience is quite hard to get if you don't have experience. You know, a lot of leagues nowadays will want someone that has done a lot of commentary before, that knows exactly what they're doing, and it's quite hard to get that experience. So with that, I would like to announce that I'm creating my own commentary academy. Now, this will be run
Wow.
through MOR, but it will basically be a service where I will try and teach you all my know-how from my 5+ years of commentary, and basically help you guys at home, whether you're in the chat, whether you watch this later on down the line, help you hone your craft, get more confident behind the microphone, and ultimately improve your skills and better yourself in the commentary booth to become a commentator like myself. I'm quite happy to say that I've had a lot of positive feedback in TikTok streams and Twitch streams and DMs with people asking me for advice. So I thought this would be a nice way to build a little community of commentators where we can all give each other advice and speak to each other about different things, and then also offer a little bit of a service to anyone that would like to go ahead with something like that. There obviously will be more announcements in the future. This is only something we are just setting up now. So this is very in the works, so to say. But yeah, I thought that was a nice little announcement to make us, a nice little sort of thing to set up. It was actually Mikey that came up with the idea. Mikey, do you want to explain anything behind your genius idea?
I mean, everyone's probably thinking, fucking hell, how many more ideas has he got? So, no, you've explained it pretty well. I think it's, we're heavily reliant on commentators, and 9 times out of 10, let's be honest, if you're racing in a race and you win a race, it feels good. But if you're racing in a race and you've got 100 people watching and you've got the commentator screaming your name, you can't beat that feeling. And we're growing massively. We're hosting social races. It's a lot of work for a couple of commentators to do. So our social events, we're going to run in unison with the academy to hopefully try and give people the experience to commentate, but not just commentate on their own. They can commentate through our platform, get used to having an audience, expand themselves as well, because they may be able to get another commentary position at a different time somewhere else, and it just helps, not just helps us, it helps people out, it helps the league out, and it also helps the Formula One community, because at the end of the day, I don't see many live league racing on Twitch anymore. I only really see us, so it's good that we've got these little ideas popping through. I can't promise I'm going to stop making up ideas. I think I'll die before the ideas do, I think. So I'll try and slow down maybe, but it depends if everyone wants me to slow down. If they're happy.
I've got a question for you, JP.
Go on, hit me.
If Mike's cut off. I think it's a brilliant idea, by the way.
Thank you.
I think teaching young commentators how to commentate properly and how to do the graphics and whatnot, I think is a fabulous idea. But question for you about commentary: what do you find most difficult when you're commentating?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say mainly it's when there's a race where there are quite large gaps. Because to be completely honest, the racing does the talking for me. If you've got a race like tonight at Tuesday 8 p.m, there's battles everywhere. I just pick where I want to go and follow along what's happening. I don't really have to do anything. I just kind of bring it to life. For example, if there's a race where you've got the leader and he's ahead by 20 seconds, and then the guy in second is 30 seconds ahead of the guy in third, I've then got to try and come up with something to make this race interesting. Luckily, that doesn't happen a lot in MOR because the grids are very competitive. But I would say that is probably the hardest thing. I think, especially certain things like random bits of info as well. I think I've made it quite clear on streams that I don't have any commentary notes whatsoever. Everything I say on the stream comes off the top of my head.
Wow.
So if there is some sort of tiny little detail of info that I need to remember, I probably don't have it. And then I'm sat there for a couple of seconds trying to remember what I'm thinking about. But yeah, I would say the hardest thing is just when the race is a bit boring, because then I've got to make it interesting, if that makes sense.
As a follow-up, then, do you prefer working alone, or would you prefer, commentating with someone else so you can bounce off each other and co-commentate as such?
I think I would say I prefer doing it on my own. I think that's mainly just because it's what I'm used to. I kind of came into commentary doing it by myself. I've progressed very far, I would have said, doing it by myself. But then again, I do really enjoy, let's say, when me and Jack Crossley commentate a season finale together, and it's this
Yeah.
real big game atmosphere. It's like an Arsenal Tottenham derby where it is really, you can feel the tensity, and it's like, okay, Championship Day, you've got two commentators. This is going to be mega. But I don't think I would prefer it over solo commentary if it was, let's say, every race. I would like co-commentary to almost be for like a special occasion, if that makes sense. So like a championship
Yeah.
finale, maybe the final race of a season, something like that.
And maybe on the back of what Mike said, I remember when the WRC was first created, and me and Mike were talking, and Mike was saying we need a commentator, we need something to get the audience gripped, and I think what you and Jack do is fantastic because it does get everyone involved. But how do people find you? Because like for me and Mike to find commentators, obviously you were in the NRRL, and you were commentating there, but we found Jack through like a random website, and like how do people find commentators nowadays?
To be honest, I would have said that it's very difficult. It really depends how commentators advertise themselves. If I was, let's say, a new commentator and I was trying to get myself out there, I would be doing things like the F1 Facebook groups where everyone posts adverts to their league and whatnot, advertise my commentary services. You can always, I think the number one thing is TikTok, 110%, because the
Yeah.
TikTok algorithm, you can get 2 views on your first video and then 200,000 on your next one. It doesn't matter about followers or interaction or anything like that. It is literally just luck of the draw. So I think posting on social media, especially TikTok, is a very big thing. But I think the main thing is just be consistent. Get your name out there. Instead of people finding you, you've got to find people, because it's not going to be easy for people to find a commentator. So make it easy for the leagues. If you are genuinely passionate about doing commentary and it's something that you want to get into further, reach out to a bunch of leagues. Tell them, hey, I'm Jack. I'm a commentator. I want to commentate. I mean, it's what I did with my my TikTok account when I first created it. I must have gone through for about 2 hours and just sat there on TikTok following every F1 league I possibly could. And if they followed me back, I'd send them a copy and pasted message. Hi, my name's Jack. I'm an F1 commentator. Here's one of the videos of my work. Message me if you want to get back to me. It's
But
more
one more
about...
question for you.
Go on.
So, how do you know if it's gonna work between you and the league? You've probably commentated in leagues before where, you might get 5, 6 drivers turn up. How do you know it's gonna work for you?
I think realistically that varies per commentator. For me, it's all about trust, because I think a league puts a lot of trust in a commentator to broadcast their action fairly. Even if you do have a race and let's say there's only 11 drivers, you want that commentator to make this feel like it's Abu Dhabi 2021. That's your job as a commentator. So, there's been leagues I've worked for previously where I don't think that trust has been there. And maybe they've been a bit skeptical of, allowing me to work the way I want to work and with the things that I want to use. It's all about being fluid and being able to adapt in different situations. I think with MOR and with WRC, that's been absolutely perfect. Mikey's been an absolute gem to work with. If I ever need any help on anything commentary wise, it's always there. I'm always there to, help set up a lobby if there's no lobby host. We're always giving each other ideas for different things. Mikey with the academy idea, for example, I've been helping him sort out the web page last night, for example, for the merchandise. It's just I want to say MOR is the first league I've had where it feels like a true friendship with a lot of the people in it rather than a business transaction. But going back to your question, I've kind of waffled on there. I think the biggest thing for me is trust. I think as long as there's trust between the league and the commentator, it will always work. But again, that does vary per commentator. You might have another person say to you, well, I think it's based on how much money they give me, or it's based on how much screen time they give me, or how much I can promote myself. At the end of the day, it's different for everyone. But for me, as long as the league trusts me to do a good job and I trust the league to provide me with a good race, there's nothing that can go wrong.
Great insight. Thank you.
I've got a question for you, JP. I don't know if you saw it. It was from Arcada. I don't know if you've seen. I think it's Gavin, or
Yeah.
is it Sean? I think it's Sean that does the graphics.
Yeah, yeah.
Arcada was just asking, would you be up for doing them graphics on the MOR Twitch when there's race on? I don't know if that's too much work to handle. I don't know. I don't commentate and use
No,
the
most
certain
certainly.
graphics people use, so it's just a thrown up there. Would you be down to use that? Maybe it might, attract more people in because we get an insight on, the tire wear of the drivers. We're getting the sector times up when in qualifying. Is that something you might be up for using, maybe?
Yeah, most certainly. I think there's a bunch of different things that we want to add. Me and Mikey have pinged ideas around for weeks about different things we'd like to be on the stream. I think the main thing for me is I always want it to be clear. Obviously, the main attraction is the racing. I don't want a bunch of pop-ups of, oh my god, like our live stream. Oh my god, follow us. These are all our sponsors, by the way. Oh my god, this is tire wear. This is graphics, blah, blah, blah. And it clutters up everything. I have definitely looked into that. I do actually need to speak to Sean about how he sets up all of his graphics and whatnot, and where we can put the graphics on the screen and all that sort of thing. But we are definitely looking at improving the streams, making them more professional, giving the audience more insight into what is happening during the race. So it's a process, but it's a process that's in motion for now.
Yeah.
Mikey, is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we send it off to the end?
No, I think we've covered. We've gone into a few bits that are different to what we went through yesterday. We don't want to obviously bore people. The idea of a podcast is to keep it about an hour, but obviously this is brand new. There's lots of questions coming in, and it's really enjoyable. You don't realise that it's an hour and 45 minutes in, and I'm 2 hours into a journey that feels like 5 minutes because we've been having it, and it's just really good to do. I think in time we'll get a bit more of a structure. We'll make it a little bit more for everyone's experience. But I think for now, I think it's been a and I think I've enjoyed it, and I hope everyone else has. Where are we at with the subs? I forgot to mention.
I believe I'm gonna have to work it out. Let's go on to our spin wheel and let's add the names, shall we?
Whilst we add the names, Mikey, there's a question in the Twitch from Sander asking, would you make a pro clubs on FIFA?
So we tried this a few months ago. It wasn't as busy in the server, so it wasn't as popular. I'm all for delving into different games. I want to do a Warzone ranked team. I'd be well up for a pro clubs team. It's just making sure we've got people committed to showing up and actually taking it seriously, because pro clubs can be really fun and it can be really good.
Yeah.
But as long as you get people that take it seriously. But in short, yes, absolutely. I think pro clubs, especially with the game, we got a chance to start.
It sounds
Currently
like
going through a diversion, and I don't know where I am.
yeah, you are lagging out a little bit. It must be said. We are just adding the names to the spin wheel now, as I just get everyone's last ones in. We've got Huff one more time, and we've got Gavin in twice. And that is it done. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39 gifted subs. 39 entries into the spin wheel.
Good showing that.
It's a very good showing. Is it good enough to get the Ferrari gloves in the giveaway as well?
Oh my.
Oh. How many people we got in the Twitch?
We have got in the Twitch stream right now 22 people watching.
Go on then.
The gloves are in.
in.
So,
Oh my god.
Mikey, what are we doing here? Are we doing one spin for the Lego, one spin for the gloves, or are we doing one winner takes all?
So that name, and whoever wins the Lego, if they've got multiple entries, you just remove the one name and then spin again.
Okay, cool. So we'll spin for the Lego first then. Ladies and gentlemen, I do want to give a big shout out to everyone that gifted. We've got Huff, we've got Mikey, we've got Fenrir, Brands, Ollie, myself, MCL, and Gavin, all in this giveaway. Mikey's in here 5 times to try and not give away the Lego and the gloves. If it lands on Mikey for the gloves, I'm going to kick off. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. For the Leclerc Lego helmet, the wheel is spinning. Let's see some hype in the chat. W's in the chat. If you are excited, it's going to Mikey.
Oh my. This is so fixed.
Mikey has won his own Lego giveaway.
Do a respin.
A respin. Do you want me to take all of your entries off, Mikey, or just the one?
No, but if I win twice, then I think that's fair. But
Yeah, fair
yeah,
enough,
take me
fair
out
enough.
Just that once.
Okay, right.
Good egg, Mike.
We're going again then. Mikey decides we respin. Let's get some W's in the chat. While the spin wheels again. The wheel spins again. And it's going to be Fenrir that wins the Lego. King Fenrir with the Charles Leclerc
Fenrir.
Lego helmet.
Go on, Fenrir.
Congratulations, Fenrir. I'm sure you will receive a DM from Mikey at some point. But who cares about the Lego when you've got the infamous F1 Mikey Boy 95 Ferrari gloves? I'm sure if you want them signed, they'll come signed. I want to see people spamming W's in the chat before we spin this wheel, because this is a big moment here. I'm pretty sure people will be crying if they lose out on this spin wheel. So I want to see everyone in the chat spamming W's. Final moment of the podcast. I can see all the W's. I can see all the love. The wheel is spinning then. Who are the Ferrari gloves going to? It's going to be Gavin Bass that wins the
Oh my
Ferrari
God.
gloves.
Brilliant.
Gavin
I wanna
Bass.
see Gavin commentate with them on.
Oh my word. What an end to the podcast and the stream, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us here on the MOR podcast. A big shout out to MCL. Thank you very much, MCL, for jumping in tonight with us and for giving your
Thank you.
insight on everything. It's been a pleasure having you, mate.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Also, a big thank you to Kian and Solar that joined us as well. Big shout out to Mikey in the car on the motorway, going through the toll booths, trying to, I don't know, he's probably smuggling something to somewhere. So good luck, Mikey.
Smuggling the Ferrari gloves.
Yeah, he's smuggling the Ferrari gloves. He's hand delivering them to Gavin Bass as we speak. So, Gavin, expect to knock on your door. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning into the stream. I've been Jack. We've had MCL, Mikey, Blake, Solar, and Kian. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back for the next episode of the podcast. I want to say on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So do join us for that. There will be announcements that will be put out and whatnot. Again, I forgot to get a podcast is ending scene. So you're just going to have to pretend that we'll be right back. and you'll hear the great song that everybody loves that Mikey made
Oh,
with his
God.
AI tool. So enjoy that, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you when we see you. Until then, take care and ta-da.